Theory: Jimin's multi-personas. The new comeback trailer Serendipity was released recently, and thanks to this, we are able to crack a few mysteries as well as discover some more. For this theory, I'd like to discuss about Jimin's multi-personas through lie, highlight reel, and serendipity. In order to understand this, we need to analyze serendipity by dividing it into 3 major points. But before we go into the video, let's talk about what happened in Lie and highlight reel. In Lie, Jimin said he was struggling to find his true identity. His lie has eaten him up and he couldn't find his innocent self anymore. This is partially a direct result from Jimin's low self-esteem. He always thought less of himself, so he lied and created a different persona. This was shown in highlight reel when Jimin was happy in front of J-Hope, but when the girl entered, he changed. He always filmed the girl and tried to replicate her by practicing alone. This is Jimin's creating a better version of himself for others, but it didn't end well. It caused Jimin's depression and suicidal thoughts. Now, let's go back to serendipity. As I mentioned before, Jimin created many versions of himself to please others, but the core persona, the innocent self that he mentioned in Lie, one that he lost and could not seem to find again, was the one we saw in Serendipity, the innocent Jimin. Okay, so now I'll analyze the trailer to furtherly prove my points. Number 1, the setting. Jimin was shown to be in 4 different places. The white room with a light well represents reality. This is perhaps the same room in Lie, the asylum cell. The asylum is where people with mental problems go to, which explains why Jimin had to be there. The dark room represents Jimin's mind. It's the same room in Spring Day when all the boys were still together. But now there's only Jimin since the home group had fallen apart. There's a scene in which Jimin's free fall and the room was shaking as if there was an earthquake. I believe this means something had happened in real life, possibly Jimin trying to kill himself by drowning in the bathtub, and it led to the shattering of Jimin's mind. The room with the ocean view. The ocean can be understood in 2 ways. Number 1, the blue ocean represents hopes and dreams. This means the innocent Jimin wished for things to become better and brighter. Or number 2, the ocean is the reference to the ocean in prologue, the same ocean mentioned in Jin's letter. If this was the case, then this shows how Jimin was reminiscing the past, and the whole Serendipity trailer was told through Jimin's point of view. And finally, we have the space setting. The space represents an unknown place, which is adulthood. Adulthood is an unknown place to the boys, and they are all on a journey towards it, in which they encounter many hardships. The space setting also reminds me of The Little Prince, a book written by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I've only watched the movie based off the book, but the basic storyline is still the same. It's about a journey of a little prince who travels to many planets and meets different people or creatures. In hindsight, I feel like BTS is using the Little Prince reference to talk about the journey of a human, more specifically a journey from boyhood to adulthood, during which an individual shall meet different types of people and scenarios, all help him to grow and learn more about the world around him. This has always been BTS' main intention, to tell the story of growing up and dealing with the world. But here's another interesting point. Even though Jimin was always in the room with open window or light well, he was always looking from afar, but never to actually step out of that place, as if he was trapped. In Lie, Jimin said he could not find his innocent self. And if the Jimin in Serendipity is the innocent Jimin, then perhaps the lies Jimin created became somewhat of an invisible cage that trapped innocent Jimin inside. And the innocent Jimin tried to find a way out, to find a way to love himself, to be free. Just let me love you, he said. Number 2, the use of color. The colors used in Serendipity are pretty basic. White represents innocence and purity, which is the essence of Jimin's core persona. Yellow means hope and joy, but it also means jealousy and betrayal. This links to highlight reel in which Jimin felt left behind by J-Hope and was jealous of the relationship between J-Hope and the girl. Yellow is also the color of self-harm awareness awareness ribbon. As we all know, in past MVs, Jimin had a history with suicides and depressions. Number 3. The symbolism. The first symbol is the cactus. Cactus is a plant that grows in desert. It can thrive in harsh conditions. This is why cactus symbolized for endurance and strength. But at the same time, there's the myth about cactus. Much like the story of Smarado, the story about cactus is about love that can never be delivered. A man and a woman love each other, yet they don't have the courage to confess, and the woman eventually marries someone else. In the context of love, cactus means unspoken love, or to be more general, the inability to express oneself that leads to misery and unhappiness. This relates so much to Jimin's story for that he could not learn to love himself right and keep searching for perfections and eventually lose things that are important to him. The second symbol is the solar system model. This, again, is the reference to the Little Prince. The third one is the cat. You're my penicillin, you save me, and I'm your calico cat. This lyrics describes the nature of the relationship between Jimin's multi-personas, one saving and completing the other. But the balance in this relationship is fragile and vulnerable, much like a cat. Jimin is very sensitive, no matter which version of him. The fourth symbol is the balloon. In Serendipity, there's a scene Jimin released the balloon. In my country, releasing a balloon is like making a wish. When students enter a school or at the beginning of an event or ceremony, people would release balloons into the sky to wish for good things to happen. This scene is a continuation to the scene in which Jimin freefall. The freefall represents Jimin's suicidal attempt, so the act of releasing a balloon might be the innocent Jimin wishing for a better thing to come, and there be a way to save him. This balloon also correlates to Blood, Sweat and Tears Korean version. Jin was releasing a balloon. I made a theory before, explaining the connection between Blood, Sweat and Tears to the night Jin fought with V. In that context, the fact Jin releasing the balloon might mean he wished for things to be better or to change the past. The final symbol I want to mention is the eyes of Horus. During Serendipity, Jimin's eyes has some reasonable screen times. Eyes are windows of the soul, and when they zoomed into Jimin's eyes, there was a galaxy of stars. This galaxy looks a lot like eyes figure to me, and it reminds me of the eyes of Horus. In Egypt mythology, Horus is the god of the sky. His right eye represents the sun, his left eye represents the moon. Together, the eyes of Horus symbolize knowledge, health, and protections. But there's also another meaning behind the eyes of Horus. Balance. I said before, Jimin's word and his relationship with his different personas is very fragile, a balance that can be broken at any second. And therefore we see a lot of contrast images that are metaphor for that delicate balance, like dark and light, yin and yang, the sun and the moon. And the moment Jimin fell into chaos, the moment he committed suicide, that balance was broken. His whole world shattered. The dark room of memories was shaking. This is the moment of life and death. But as bad as it might seem, we need to remember that this whole trailer was told through innocent Jimin's point of view. He realized that the other persona has screwed up somehow, but innocent Jimin didn't give up. He found a way to save himself, which was the whole point of the trailer. Throughout Serendipity, innocent Jimin was always looking for something, a cure. And finally he found it. This explains the name, Serendipity. Serendipity is the luck some people have in finding valuable things by chance. It's a little bit ironic since Jimin seems to be searching for something in the entire video and ended up finding it by luck. But back to the main point, what cure did he find? What way there was to save himself? The cure was to love yourself.
Remember what we say, love myself, love yourself.
It's been BTS' intention all along. They want to spread the message of loving yourself. Only by loving and respecting yourself first can you save yourself and are able to grow as a person, as well as taking another step towards maturity.
Well, that's our theory. This is the Cat Whisperers. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to share your thoughts about our theory as well as your own theory in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye!